I want to bring in Art Laffer, former Reagan economist. Now, this plan, released last night and is going to be detailed more this morning, it gets rid of the surtax on high-income tax earners, gets rid of a lot of taxes, actually, the medical device tax. It leaves in place the Cadillac tax, I think, but a lot of taxes are gone. You've got to approve of that, Art.
I love it. I think it's just absolutely wonderful. This is a huge plus. And, Stuart, just to put it into financial terms, I think if this passes as it stands without modification, will be worth 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 points on the Dow.
Whoa, that big. Well, a lot of conservatives a lot of conservatives are not happy about it. The Cadillac's tax stays. No. It's still an entitlement program, which can only expand. You know, you're shaking your head. Go ahead, make your case.
Yeah, it's just wah, wah, wah. I mean, it doesn't have everything in it yet. It's going to get modified through the committees. These things will go, and it will happen. But I don't know of any conservative today, free market economist, who would not vote this bill over doing nothing.
So you say it's going to pass.
So it's going to pass. It's got to pass. And these people who don't want to defund any of this program or that program or whatever it may be, they may be sitting there trying to get another point in or not. But when it comes to a vote, there's no way they are not going to vote for this bill.
I think it was you who said it, but it has been said that if you get rid of these taxes in Obamacare, then you've just given the middle class the best tax boost you could possibly give them. Is that accurate?
Yes, and it gives a shot in the arm to the U.S. economy. These tax burdens are enormously hindering of the bull market and the economy. They're right on the margin. They put all sorts of pressures on small and larger companies, and they do all sorts of damage. This is the first major step in the pro-growth agenda. Now, as you say, tax cuts are next. You're right. Tax rate reductions are next. But this is a huge plus, Stuart.
Okay. 17.2% of all the jobs in America are part-time. I think that is partly the result of Obamacare and the mandates from Obamacare. Well, the mandates are going. They're going away. Do you think we will therefore have more full-time jobs in America and fewer part-time jobs?
Well, we're going to have more full-time jobs for two reasons. Number one, Obamacare does tilt towards part-time versus full-time. That will happen, just as you said it. But also, we're going to have a lot more jobs in America as well. So we're going to have more full-time jobs because of growth in the economy. We have had a huge collapse in employment as a share of adult population from the end of Bill Clinton to now because of all sorts of bad policies. Those policies are now being unwound. And the coolest thing about the Trump administration, if I may say, is they've kept expectations low. They've not made over promises, and expectations have been held low, and they have only up to go. They have the lowest bar imaginable, Stuart. This economy is going to start to go, and once it starts, the ball will start rolling very much in their favor. I'm quite excited about the next couple of years. I think Trump has played this beautifully.
You may well have just moved the market. We shall see. How about that? Real power for the guy right there.
Well, I'm watching. I want to get to 21,000 again and again and again. I'm just teasing you.
You won't be on the show when we get to 21,000 again and again and again. And you will be, sir. Art Laffer, stay there. We'll bring you back for the opening bell. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Who's with us on a Tuesday morning on a day like this to figure out what's going on? I'll tell you who's with us. Full screen. Elizabeth McDonald, Art Laffer, James Freeman, Mike Murphy, and Nicole on the floor of the New York Exchange. I say that this... Now, look, the legislative schedule has begun. The Trump plan, or the congressional plan on Obamacare, is in front of Congress. Things are starting to move. Does this rally the market, Mike Murphy?
It does. I mean, you look at what's going on with the market right now. Our pullbacks are 50 points, 20 points, 30 points. So the trend is still to the upside. The momentum is still to the upside. The market likes the reduced regulations and the prospect of lower taxes. As long as that's out there and earnings can keep up, Stuart, we're going to see a higher market.
And James Freeman, you said earlier that we have started the legislative schedule and that this will be done. Obamacare will be repealed, reformed within weeks. Yes?
Yes.
That's got to be a plus for the market.
Well, many weeks.
Many weeks,
We'll say months. And I think you get tax reform this year, too. And that can't help but be good for markets.
So we're off and we're running, and you think that's good for the stock market overall, even though we're down, what, 20-odd points? That's all we got, just down 20.
Well, obviously, we're trading at a very high level since the election. That overall trend is still very positive. But now, as we've seen for a few weeks here, people want to see the president deliver. I think you saw the beginning of him delivering last week, and now legislative action begins, and I think he gets this Obamacare bill done.
Art Laffer, moments ago, you were very bullish on the market because you think that we are going to get this reform of Obamacare done. Tell us again.
I think it's going to be fantastic. One thing that I think there was confusion about is the tax on Cadillac healthcare plans. That tax, I don't believe, Stuart, has ever gone into effect yet. I think even the ACA had it coming in at 2020. That's been deferred again to 2025. When you defer something to 2025, that's effectively repealing it.
Okay.
So I am not worried about
say-
that tax.
Okay. Nicole, come in, please.
We had a guest on earlier on FBN AM from the Cato Institute who, listen, I'm all for the repeal and replace and making things better for America myself. However, I will say he really expressed a lot of concern. He criticized this new act and calling it Obama light, saying it didn't do enough, didn't have enough changes. And his concern there was that the administration basically has one chance to get this through until the next elections in Congress. So they got to do it, and they got to get it right. Whatever tweaks need to be made, they have to get it and move it along.
Yeah.
Can Paul Ryan get this done?
Okay, we shall see. The legislative process has begun. Now, here's something that happened less than an hour ago. A Trump from President tweet about lowering drug prices.
You said a tweet from President Trump.
Did I say?
You
Freudian
said
slip
President
there.
tweet.
What did I say?
You
President
said a
tweet.
Trump from President tweet. That was funny.
I'm very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, Mr. President. I do
Sorry, I got your
apologize.
back. That's all.
Okay, the tweet
Good
was
catch,
about
Elizabeth.
competition to lower drug prices. And look at the drug stocks. They're all down this morning. James?
Well, I think this is a concern of what does he mean by that. When he talked in the debates last year, you got the sense that maybe he was talking about the government dictating prices. I think what you want to see, what markets want to see, is what he was talking about last week, which is we are going to allow competition by having the federal regulatory burden reduced, where we've seen drugs, vaccines, EpiPen, not having competitors in the market because the Food and Drug Administration will not allow them. So I think this is an area where maybe House conservatives should focus their efforts. How do you get some regulatory reduction into this health care bill? Make it give people the freedom to try medicines that may or may not be proven, but we know are safe.
It was a good prodding tweet from the president.
And Bernie Sanders and Elijah Cummings likes the idea of Medicare negotiating drug prices, so that restores political capital that may have been drained by his tar pit of tweets that had got him in trouble over the weekend.
And he's been doing this with the airlines as well. I mean, we actually saw where the administration is now trying to reduce regulation on the airlines, trying to just cutting it back, not having to hear how many wheelchairs are lost, and giving them a little bit of relief in the regulation area in order to have competition there as well. So maybe he'll give it, and he'll be tough on these companies, but somehow give to them as well. So right now he's saying you better get those prices down.
He's prodding the process along, and he's doing that, and the drug makers are down, and the market is holding with a loss of just 20 points. That's all it is. I'm going to draw your attention to Facebook. We cover it frequently, all the time, I should say. Hit a record high yesterday, still very close. Well, look at that. Now it's at 138. Mike, you've been a big supporter of Facebook. You like
Big supporter. Still like the stock here. 2 billion reasons why, Stuart. There's 2 billion people out there using the platform, and there are so many different levers that Mark Zuckerberg can pull in order to generate revenue.
Fine.
We talk about Snapchat. The question is whether or not they're going to be able to generate enough revenue to support this stock price. Facebook has proven that they can generate this revenue. So I think the one name that I'd want to be in, I've said it before, would be Facebook.
Okay, the exact opposite is going on with Snap. They opened for trading last Thursday, went straight up. Now they've come all the way down. I think Snap is now around $21 per share. Down, actually, it's down another 9% as of today. Here's my question, EMAC. Why did NBC Universal put in $500 million into that company on day one?
It's saying its own content could be directed at the young users of Snapchat. Like it did buy DreamWorks. Remember, NBC Universal bought DreamWorks. However, watch this to Mike's point. When Facebook's Instagram started mimicking Snap last year, Snapchat, the user growth at Snap started to slow down. So I think Facebook has a big play here with Instagram.
You wouldn't touch Snap?
I wouldn't yet. They floated a very small number of shares, Stuart. So this market, it doesn't take much buying to get the stock to run up to 29. And as you can see, it doesn't take much selling to get it back down around 21. The key for me is, does it hold 17 when it gets there? That was the IPO price.
Yep.
Does it hold 17? If more sellers, shares get unlocked, sellers could come in, it could go a lot lower.
Okay, I want to return to our discussion of Amazon versus Alphabet. Both of them around $840 a share, but within a couple of bucks each. We've asked this question frequently: which one of these two companies and their stock gets to $1,000 first? A lot of people have been saying on this program it's Amazon. What says Mike Murphy?
I would say Amazon. But now remember, both of these companies, Stuart, do a great job in acquiring startup businesses. Sure. They're going out, they have a ton of cash. They're looking, we're in venture capital. They're looking at startup companies that they can bolt on to their current businesses and really generate more growth, get into different business lines. So Amazon for me would be the company, although you're not going to go too wrong with Google either.
Okay. Art Laffer, I want to ask you this stock question. Is it Amazon or is it Alphabet that gets to $1,000 first?
I agree with Elizabeth McDonald totally on this issue.
Oh, that was cruel, because I don't know where she stands on this one. Which one gets first, Amazon or Google? Which gets first to 1,000? Amazon. Art Laffer, you think Amazon gets to $1,000 first?
If Elizabeth says it, it's book.
Look,
nice?
you're always welcome back on the program, Art. You don't have to flatter people left, right, and centre. Because if you flatter me, you can co-anchor. But that's
I flatter you all the time for being such a young man. That I've always done, Stuart.
Well, I like that a lot. Okay,
Yeah,
Dow Jones Industrial Averages down 33 points. That's not a really big pullback. I'm saying the Trump rally is on pause. The market wants to know, are we going to get Obamacare repealed, reformed and replaced? Are we going to get the tax cut by August? If the answer is yes, the market goes up. That's my opinion. If the answer is no, I think the market goes down. Anybody want to take me on?
I will agree 100%. But look at President Trump, Stuart. What he's said he's going to deliver so far, he has delivered. So I would be betting with him, not against him. I think that's why the market is holding these levels.
Laffer, you agree?
Yeah, and Stuart, well, what I want to make sure your audience understands, and everyone, this is a marathon, not a sprint. From the Reagan bear from August 14th, 1982, till the end of Clinton, we had a huge rise of over 1,300 points in the Dow. This is a long bull market that we're just starting, and I think Trump is doing exactly the right moves. Don't push this agenda too fast. Let it take its own course, and you will see miracles over the next decade and a half.
Let me back that up, because I've got a poll, it's from CNN of all places, which shows President Trump, that people approve very much of his handling of the economy.
Yes.
55% approval. They might not like the man himself or his style, but they think he's doing a very good job on the economy, James. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of them are looking for is what Art was talking about, just letting things take their course, letting nature take its course if you get rid of government-imposed limits. And I think on the trade end, Exxon, we talked about their investments. A lot of these new products are going to be for export. I think the best case scenario here is you start seeing this export growth, economic growth, and President Trump maybe puts on the back burner these ideas about intervening in our trading relationships, because it's really, his domestic economy agenda is about freedom, and then you cross the border and it's all about the government managing things. So I'm hoping some of these bullish signs we're talking about will encourage him not to disrupt trade.
I'm going to give the last word to Art Laffer. And Art, I want you to repeat what you said about 20 minutes ago, that we're going to get a 2,000 or 3,000 point rise for the Dow when we've gotten rid of Obamacare and we've got tax cuts in place. Repeat it, please.
The taxes from Obamacare, the 3.8% plus all the other taxes, the extension of the tax on the Cadillac plan to 2025, these have an enormous impact on the margin for profits and output and employment. And those numbers will add to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 equivalents on the Dow, and maybe even more over the long term, because once this machine starts rolling, it doesn't stop, Stuart. It goes to the Democrats. They'll come back into the fold, and you will see in America really trying to get economic growth in 4 or 5 years. And this will all be because of the beginning of this Trump administration doing the good economics and undoing W and Obama.
Art, I got to tell you, I see a lot of smiling faces. Art, James, Mike, nodding of heads, big smiles. Come on, everybody, big smiles.
Sure.
Thank you for participating in this Love Fest. We appreciate you all. Thank you very much indeed.
Love fest.